recognizes the aptness and relevance of the main thrust of this conference in view of the contemporary challenges of hate and intolerance in our society today.
As Ufuk Dialogue Foundation and People of the World and its alliances, our purpose is to contribute to culture of coexistence and mutual understanding and dialogue by bringing people together from different cultural, religious, ethnic, and ideological backgrounds. When we are walking in this path, we trust the common humanitarian values that all people shares. These common values connect humanity and will bring the global peace.
The first is to congratulate Ufuk Foundation and other co-conveners of this very important conference. His Eminence, the Sultan of Sokoto, urges people at all levels to remember that love and tolerance are the key determinants to peace and stability. Without love, without tolerance, without peace, without stability, there can never be development in any community or nation.
When we look around us, we see very little of love, or at least if we are to follow what the news media are telling us, our world is full of conflicts, wars, terrorism, even in our own nation. And the temptation, therefore, is to practically be resigned to the situation and say, well, that's how the world is. Can't be better. My own message through this forum is we should resist this temptation.
Love and tolerance are essential ingredients in a plural society. Our problems and difficulties are virtually the same for the Christian, the Muslim, the African traditional adherent, even for those who have no type of faith as we understand it. Our problems are the same. If there is no water, there is no water. If there is no light, there is no light. If there is no road, there is no road. It's not a question of Christians or Muslim or that. If anything should happen to Nigeria, Christianity and Islam may not be innocent.
We have letters of appreciation here ready that we want to give to some of our key personalities here this morning. I would call on the DG of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, Professor Oshita, to present a letter of appreciation to the representative of His Eminence, in person of Dr. Abubakar Sani Lugga, Wazirin Katsina.
On behalf of Her Excellency, Madam Zuma, the chairperson of the Africa Union, she's asked me to say that what happens in Nigeria affects all of us in Africa, and particularly those in the diaspora. She asked me to say that Nigeria, we're praying for you. Nigeria, we know that everything is going to be all right here. Let's give ourselves a big round of applause.
Next to my left is my brother, Dr. Oshita O. Oshita, who is the Director General of this building. He is our host, the Institute of Peace and Conflict Resolution. We have had similar engagements across West Africa with political parties, trying to get them to mainstream gender and youth into the work they do so that they can have peace.
In order to define personal reform, we begin by understanding the meaning of reform. To reform is to move towards an improved state of conduct, as from darkness to light. It reflects what some refer to as being born again in some other climate or some other environment. Personal reform therefore points to a qualitative change in an individual, as recorded of, for instance, in the Bible, from the movement from Saul to Paul. Now, personal reformation implies a spiritual, physical, emotional change that impacts on an individual's relationship with self, that is, through introspection, and above God, with neighbor, and by extension, with God. Personal reform makes the individual into a new creation in which all old things are considered past and gone. Reformation, therefore, is essentially forward-looking.
It is important, as we are here this morning, to try to inculcate in ourselves these values. Can you please repeat after me? Peace, love, and tolerance.
Peace, love, and tolerance.
Peace, love, and tolerance.
Peace, love, and tolerance.
May God grant us these values.
Amen.
Very important, because it is said, whoever has no beauty of values inside him cannot see beauty outwardly. In Quran chapter 19, verse 96, God said, in these indeed, those who believe and do righteous deeds will have the love of God throughout their own lives. And you cannot get the garden of eternity until you love one another. Therefore, it is important, especially at this time when the political space has been militarized by our own politicians today. You wonder whether we are in military dispensation, because some of the utterances we hear from our political gladiators today, we don't even hear them during military rule.
And therefore, what we need to do is that our hearts are supposed to be aglow with genuine love for each other. Some are not having the knowledge, or they refuse to accept that we are created by God. If you know that we are created by God, and that at the end of it you will give account of your activity, God promotes love. And therefore what we need to do is to try as much as possible to promote love.
The good thing about this book that it has a good attractive title for those people who are looking for happiness in their marriage life. You know, when we had introduced this book first time in the Frankfurt Book Fair, that was 11 years ago, a lot of people came and visited our booth trying to look for a solution to their family love problems, because the title was love, and they needed tolerance among spouses, right? And of course we had to spend some time to explain them that, look, this book is about peace building and conflict resolution, and that faith and religions that God has revealed to us through his messengers actually teaches love and mercy and compassion and tolerance. Well, in my paper I had focused on 3 concepts to explain what we are trying to mean and how, or better, we should understand the concept of love itself. And they are purity, relativity, and effort. Purity in the sense that, well, people were right when they thought this book was about love or loving your wife and husband and marriage. It is true for me also too that when I speak of love, I think of my wife.
The agent of love and tolerance is a human person. And the context of operation of the human person is the society. And it has to do with the dialogue. Because the external reality back of the section of the brain and whatever you acquire as you live on earth affects you, you discover that you have human beings on earth. They have grown up with certain inheritance, and because of that, they develop some kind of abnormal personality that could lead to intrapersonal conflict, interpersonal conflict, and this leads to intra-community conflicts, and this can lead to inter-community conflict. So all these conflicts, according to some psychologists, start from the human heart. For a human person to change, and for that human person to change the society, you need education. And if you think that education is expensive, try ignorance. And if you want to really capture why we should live in peace and harmony, look at the prayer of the Muslims, for example. Whenever you want to pray, how do you open your prayer? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, maliki yawmid ya kana abudu wa ya kana astahi. Ihdina sirata mustaqim, sirata lexina alhata alekim, garili madubi alekim, wala dallin. Amen. How can you say that prayer to God of mercy and compassion, and you still say, for example, the suicide bomber that was arrested? He said, why did you do that? He said, we are fighting for the cause of Allah. And yet you have said the similar Rahman Rahim.